Good day to you, one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Ah! Ah! I've not had, I don't know, nothing. I've just woken up. I'm sorry, guys. I keep doing these early morning ones, and I think it makes me more angry. People love that stuff, though, don't they? Today is Comments Day. This is episode 46, which means we've been doing it for a long time. Oh, God, sorry. I will react open-heartedly to a carefully curated selection of your missives. Justin Hawkins Rides Again. It's not a plectrum in there this time. I think that's just some wires and stuff from the... Because this is one of those guitars that's got... You can plug it in there. You know, technical stuff. Right. Here we go. So the first comment of today is Phil Conroy says, maybe one for Comments Day. This has me wondering, do you ever feel any ambivalence towards I Believe in a Thing Called Love? I remember once having a heated debate with a friend who referred to The Darkness as a one-hit wonder in reference to that tune, whereas in my humble opinion at least, it's not even the best song on Permission to Land. Do you ever have conflicted emotions about it receiving so much of the attention in comparison to the rest of your oeuvre a la Radiohead and Creep? Or is this outweighed by the ongoing revenue it generates? Love the channel, mate. Excellent question. I don't know. I think the thing about that song is that it was an undeniable worldwide rock hit insofar as we have worldwide rock hits anymore. And I like the way it's always being cemented as a classic because, you know, on an individual level, I felt that song pouring out of me. And then it's just been brilliant ever since. It's really looked after me. I don't care if people think it's a one-hit wonder. Most people who say that haven't had any hits at all, and I'm grateful for the one worldwide hit. We had other hits in the UK, but UK is, I'm not sure if it's the third or fourth biggest market. It's a significant market, and it's all you actually need to conquer, you know, to be able to live comfortably. But I think it's not about hits. You know, hits is the masses. You know, I Believe in a Thing Called Love is basically our happy meal. Whereas I think the other songs that you're referring to that are better, that are more like a Michelin-starred cordon bleu with drizzles and foams and, I don't know, just some flavours that you wouldn't normally expect to go together. You know, it's for a more discerning palate. I Believe in a Thing Called Love is our contribution to the fast food thing. I mean, you know, I love that song. I came up with it. It's been very, very good to me. I love it. I think Radiohead and Creep might be a slightly different scenario because obviously some of the publishing was lost to, was it the Hollies or whoever it was that came up with the air. Sometimes all I need is the air that I breathe and to love you. You know, that had a very similar verse to the middle section of Creep, so I think they lost some of the publishing on that. So there's the ongoing revenue would be less weighty, I think, for Radiohead. So I don't know whether I mean, you've got to be proud of Creep anyway. It's a great song. Anyway, I don't know. I think if you write a song and you're not proud of it anymore, it's just sad, isn't it? Rebecca Johnson says, Dear Justin Hawkins, I know you said writing for you is not necessarily cathartic, but what is the most personal you've gotten in a song? Oh, that's a good question. I think... I mean, it's not necessarily catharsis, but the songwriting can be really personal. I mean, obviously, there's some times when we do Darkness songs and they're sort of like historical romps or talking about mythology. You know, that's that sort of folky metal angle that we sometimes come in from. But anything that's... I feel like Easter is Cancelled is a really personal one because it's definitely some songs on there that are coloured by the experiences surrounding a divorce, and I go into quite a lot of detail about that stuff in there. I would say there's other sort of that's the record. Have a listen to Easter is Cancelled. That's definitely the most personal one. It's kind of like a concept album that had a little bit of multiverse theory in there as well. Yeah, and then some horrible stuff about breakups. This is hard one to listen to. I just said hard one. If you take the E away, that's hard on. See, this is the kind of gold you come for. Nice one, Rebecca. Truffle Huffer says, fascinating. No wonder so many artists handball management to non-creatives. I'm impressed with how much the brothers Hawkins have balanced the two extremes. Is it not a mind or have you developed the ability to balance the left and right hemispheres of your brain due to the longevity of your time in the industry? Yeah, I think at the beginning of The Darkness, I was very much aware of the comings and goings of the music trade, and I watched the way it sort of evolved or devolved, from the product-based economy to the service-based economy. But it's nice to sort of roll your sleeves up and get stuck into it sometimes. I think if the artists themselves express something to a team member, it can land in a different way, I suppose. But there's also it's just nice to try and understand how things work and what's going on around you, really. It's hard to not get the hang of it. I mean, a good management would explain it to you anyway, but they'd also take that away from you. You don't want them just to be a buffer zone. You actually want them to feverishly beaver away behind the scenes, so that you don't have to, and then you can be in front of the scenes. I think it's less of a mind. Actually, maybe it is a mind. I think it's a mind fuck. That's a good way to put it. Or a cluster fuck. It's a cluster mind fuck, the worst kind. Anyway, Just Playing Bass says, great show as always, Justin. Can I ask, if a political entity that you didn't affiliate or agree with used one of your songs without permission, how would you deal with it? Just asking, as there has been a few incidents lately of that very situation. Thanks for the reply, sending love. Yeah, I think I know the things you're talking about. I really don't know, because I think if it's in the context of some sort of political march or rally, there isn't very much you can do about it. I don't think, anyway, because if they've got permission to play music, they've got permission to play any music, and they'll just collect the money and send it to you. But I think if they're using your song as part of some kind of broadcasted campaign, I'd imagine there'd be some legal recourse that you could, maybe you could get them to cease and desist. I'm sure there's ways to do it, probably expensive and annoying ways, but everything has a price and everything is annoying. Damien Chalice says, what happens to songs when the melodies are used to advertise products but they change the words? For example, a very known kitchen cleaning product that also shares the same name as a famous song by Queen, or melodies that are a bit similar to an original song by artists, but it has in essence a similar tonal vibe and chord progression that fits a certain genre of music. I'm going to have to reread that. My mind wandered. What happens to songs when the melodies are used to advertise products but they change the words? Oh yeah. Okay, so let's answer that one first. I think in that instance, you would have to give them license to change the words. I think normally they'd be gracious enough to offer you a vetoing moment, if you needed it. The other part of your question, when you're talking about our melodies, or melodies are a little bit similar to the original song, but it has an essence similar in... Yeah, okay, so... That's a different thing. I think having a similar melody, there'll be musicologists that argue how many notes and how much of a bar or how many bars even would denote a complete lift, and then you'd work around whatever those parameters are. I think it used to be 4 in a row or something like that. If there's 4 notes in a row, then yeah, you're in trouble. So you do the first 3, then you change the 4th, or you change the 3rd or something like that. I mean, I'm sure that sort of thing happens when they do something that's a bit like it, but everyone knows that if you're just going to take a song that exists and then change like one part of it, that's not art. It doesn't resonate in the same way. It will have no emotional impact to anybody that hears it because it's cynical, and people can detect that, I think. A song that comes from the heart and is written in traditional open-hearted way, where you're taking something from the ether and using your body as a vessel to present it back to the universe and for whoever needs to hear it, that's art. And you can feel that, and you can feel the difference between that and some producer going, oh yeah, I like that song. Let's do a song that's just like that I like, but I'll just change one of them so that we don't get sued. Yeah, it might end up being successful. It might end up in an advert, but it will never move the discerning listener in the way that a real song does, and that's what really hurts. That's what really hurts, is they do it, and it's shit. It is. Anyway, thanks for your question. Tim Beck with a lovely super thanks. Cheers, Tim. Maybe an odd question, but what is your favourite and or most used vocal microphone when you record your vocals? Always appreciate your videos. Thanks, Justin. Nice one, Tim. I say, Tim, I use this cool green Bock thing when I'm recording at home. I don't even remember what the model number is, but I just saw it and it was a lovely shade of green. And, you know, crooners like myself, it's important to have like microphones and musical equipment that matches your bathroom suite, or you know, I don't know. I think my brother likes me to sing through something that's a bit like that Neumann U47. But you know, those things are astronomically expensive and hard to get hold of, and re-released them. But I don't know. I like a lot of different stuff. When we did Pinewood Smile, Adrian Bushby rocked up with a load of weird Russian sort of microphones or valve mics and things that I'd never even seen before. Some of those things sounded good too. But when I'm at home, I use the Bock. Yeah, it's lovely stuff. Jackie Kravitz says, comments day question. What's the most recent lyric you realised you'd gotten wrong and never knew for the majority of your life? For example, what you doing on your bed on your back? You should be dancing by the Bee Gees. Oh, that's a really good question. There's a bit in Problem Child. What a riff. And he goes, I am hot, but when I'm not, I'm cold as ice. Get out of my way, just step aside, I'll pay the price. And then when he gets to the chorus at some point, he says, I'm a problem child. And he goes, even my mother hates me. And at one point he goes, problem child. And I thought he was saying from Siam. I thought he was saying he's a problem child from Siam. But then I've realised after a year or so that he was singing Yes I Am. It's completely different, just slightly. It's just I was reluctant to hear it in any other way. I think when it goes in, the first time I filter it into my lexicon, that's your last chance. Until I see it written down and I go, why? Justin Hawkins writes again. Thanks a lot for all of your comments, guys. Keep coming back, keep them coming, and I'll keep responding. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Watch one of these 2 videos, and I'll see you cats on the ice. Sorry about the squeaky chair, though.